The massive space station floated silently in the neutral zone between star systems. Station Unity had been built for moments like this, first contact with a new species. The Galactic Council had used it dozens of times before, welcoming peaceful, plant-eating races into their growing family of civilized worlds. Ambassador. Krell adjusted his flowing robes and checked the welcome ceremony preparations one final time. The tall, green-skinned Verdani had overseen many first contacts during his long career. His people were natural diplomats, having evolved from gentle tree-dwelling creatures who resolved conflicts through song and negotiation. The humans should arrive within the hour, announced tech operator Nyx, her crystalline fingers dancing across the control panel. The Thalon were masters of technology, their silicon-based bodies perfectly suited for interfacing with computer systems. Their ships are maintaining proper diplomatic speeds and broadcasting all the correct identification codes. Krell nodded approvingly. Excellent. Have the greeting gifts been prepared according to their cultural preferences? Yes, Ambassador, replied Cultural Specialist Braun, his forearms organizing data tablets with practiced efficiency. The stocky Korthax had spent months studying human transmissions and had compiled what he believed was a comprehensive cultural guide. They appear to value metals, specifically gold and silver. We have prepared appropriate samples along with mathematical proofs and artistic representations of our respective civilizations. The waiting delegation represented the major powers of the Galactic Council. Besides the Verdani, Thalon, and Korthax, there were the floating Nimari with their gas-filled bladders, the elegant Seraph with their feathered wings, and the sturdy Rockburn whose stone-like skin gave them an appearance of living statues. All of them were herbivorous or filter-feeding species who had achieved interstellar travel through cooperation and shared knowledge. Their approach is quite impressive, observed Commander Vila of the Seraph military escort. Her keen eyes tracked the incoming human vessels on the long-range displays. Clean lines, efficient design, no visible weapon systems, which is promising. The human fleet consisted of 5 ships arranged in a diamond formation. The lead vessel was larger than the others, clearly designed for diplomatic purposes rather than warfare. Its hull gleamed silver under the station's lights, and elegant script along its side identified it as the Terra Nova. Incoming transmission from the human delegation, announced Nyx. Audio and visual are clear. They are requesting permission to dock. Granted immediately, Krell said, smoothing his robes, and activate the universal translators. I want no misunderstandings during our first meeting. The docking process went smoothly. Human technology appeared compatible with galactic standards, another positive sign. Through the viewing ports, the delegation could see human crew members moving with purpose, but without apparent haste or aggression. They look remarkably similar to several other bipedal species we know, commented Braun, studying the humans through the observation deck. 2 arms, 2 legs, bilateral symmetry. Their skin tones vary considerably, which suggests a diverse population. The airlock cycled, and the moment everyone had prepared for finally arrived. The human delegation stepped onto Station Unity, led by a woman of medium height with dark hair pulled back in a neat style. She wore a simple but elegant dark blue uniform with minimal decorations. Greetings, she said, her voice clear and confident. I am Ambassador Maria Santos, representing the United Earth government. We are honored to meet with the Galactic Council and grateful for your welcome. Krell stepped forward, spreading his arms in the traditional Verdani gesture of peaceful greeting. Welcome, Ambassador Santos. I am Krell of the Verdani, speaking for the Council today. We are pleased to establish contact with humanity. The formal greetings proceeded exactly as protocols demanded. Each species representative introduced themselves and their worlds. The humans responded with appropriate respect and interest, asking thoughtful questions about galactic civilization and trade relationships. Ambassador Santos introduced her team, Dr. James Wright, their chief scientist, Commander Lisa Park, military liaison, economist Robert Chun, and cultural attaché David Kim. Each human shook hands with the alien delegates, a custom that seemed to amuse the non-bipedal species. "Your handshake custom is fascinating," noted Braun, a physical gesture of trust and equality. "Many species in the galaxy prefer to maintain personal distance during formal meetings. Humans are quite social," explained Dr. Wright with a smile. "We evolved as group-living creatures. Physical contact helps us establish bonds and show respect." The delegation moved to the main conference room, where a formal banquet had been prepared. The galactic chefs had done their best to accommodate human dietary requirements based on the limited information available. Tables groaned under the weight of various fruits, vegetables, grains, and synthesized proteins. "This is wonderful," Ambassador Santa said, examining the spread. "You have been very thoughtful in your preparations. We brought some items from Earth as well, to share our culture with you." The humans produced several containers from their diplomatic pouches. They offered samples of coffee, chocolate, various spices, and what they called jerky, dried preserved meat. "This is from animals on our world," Commander Park explained casually, holding up a piece of the jerky. "We preserve meat this way for long journeys. It was essential for our ancestors when they traveled long distances hunting." Several of the alien delegates exchanged glances. The word hunting carried different meanings across species, but most understood it as the pursuit of other living creatures for food. "Hunting," repeated cultural specialist Braun carefully. "Your species pursued other animals for sustenance?" "Oh yes," Dr. Wright answered enthusiastically. "Humans are omnivores. We eat both plants and animals. Hunting was crucial to our development as a species. Our ancestors could track prey across vast distances, sometimes for days at a time." The room fell silent for a moment. Ambassador Krell maintained his diplomatic smile, but his mind was racing. Most galactic species had evolved from prey animals or peaceful plant eaters. The concept of actively pursuing other creatures for food was not unknown, but it was rare among spacefaring civilizations. Commander Park continued the explanation, apparently unaware of the growing tension. "Modern humans don't need to hunt for survival anymore, but many still enjoy it as sport. The skills transfer well to other activities: persistence, patience, strategic thinking." "Sport," echoed Commander Vela of the Seraph. "You pursue living creatures for entertainment?" "Some do," Ambassador Santa said diplomatically. "Others prefer competitive sports between humans. We have many games that involve strategy, physical competition, and team coordination." The conversation moved on to safer topics like art, music, and philosophy, but several delegates found their attention wandering back to the casual mentions of hunting and competitive pursuit. These humans spoke of tracking prey and competition as natural parts of their existence. As the formal dinner progressed, more small details emerged. Humans mentioned keeping domesticated animals, including what they called hunting dogs, other predators trained to assist in the pursuit of prey. They described games involving chasing and catching, sports where physical contact was expected and celebrated. Dr. Wright was explaining human recreational activities when he mentioned something that made several delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. "One of our oldest hunting techniques is called persistence hunting," he said, cutting a piece of fruit with casual precision. "Our ancestors would simply follow their prey at a steady pace until the animal collapsed from exhaustion. Humans can run longer distances than almost any other creature on Earth." The implications of that statement hung in the air as the first day of contact drew to a close. The second day of contact began with what the humans called a cultural exchange presentation. The main conference hall had been converted into a viewing theater, with large screens and comfortable seating arranged for both human and alien delegates. Ambassador Santos stood at the front of the room, looking pleased and confident. We thought it would be helpful to share some examples of human culture and entertainment, she announced to the assembled aliens. This will help you understand our society better. The first presentation was what Dr. Wright called a nature documentary. The lights dimmed and the screen filled with images of Earth's landscapes. Rolling grasslands, dense forests, and flowing rivers appeared in stunning detail. The alien delegates murmured appreciatively at the beauty of the human homeworld. This program shows the wildlife of our planet, explained cultural attaché David Kim. It was very popular among our people. We call it Planet Earth, the hunt. Ambassador Krell shifted in his seat. The word hunt again. But surely this was just educational material about Earth's ecosystem. The documentary began peacefully enough. Gentle music played as the camera showed various animals grazing in open fields. Colorful birds flew through forest canopies. Fish swam in clear streams. The alien delegates relaxed, finding the scenes similar to nature programs from their own worlds. Then the tone changed. The music became dramatic and intense. The camera focused on a group of four-legged creatures with spotted coats moving silently through tall grass. The narrator's voice, calm but excited, explained what was happening. The lions have spotted a herd of zebras near the watering hole. The pride works together, using strategy and coordination perfected over millions of years of evolution. Commander. Vila of the Seraph gripped her chair arms tightly. On screen, the spotted creatures were moving with clear purpose toward the striped animals. This was not peaceful observation of nature. What followed made several delegates gasp audibly. The predators attacked with sudden violence, bringing down one of the striped animals in a flurry of motion. The camera did not look away. It showed everything in vivid detail. Fascinating hunting technique, commented Commander Park casually. The lions used teamwork and ambush tactics, very efficient. Tech operator Nix's crystalline fingers were trembling as she watched. Her people had never seen anything like this deliberate violence between living creatures. On the screen, more scenes followed. Birds diving from the sky to catch fish. Wolves pursuing elk through snow. Sharks attacking seals near ocean shores. This is entertainment for your species? Asked cultural specialist Braun, his forearms clutched tightly together. Oh yes, replied Dr. Wright enthusiastically. Nature documentaries are very popular. People love seeing predator-prey relationships and hunting strategies. It helps us understand the natural world. Ambassador Krell was beginning to feel deeply uncomfortable. These humans watched violence between creatures for pleasure. They found the systematic pursuit and killing of other animals fascinating rather than horrifying. The documentary continued with a segment about human ancestors. The screen showed early humans moving across open plains, carrying primitive weapons. The narrator explained how these ancient people had hunted massive animals called mammoths and mastodons. Our ancestors were persistence hunters, Dr. Wright narrated along with the program. They would track large prey for days, sometimes weeks. The animals would eventually collapse from exhaustion, unable to continue running. Humans were the ultimate marathon runners of the animal kingdom. The alien delegates watched in growing alarm as the screen showed how early humans had systematically hunted numerous species to extinction. The narrator spoke of this as natural evolution, as progress and adaptation. Next, we wanted to share some of our recreational activities, announced Ambassador Santos, apparently unaware of the tension in the room. These are what we call sports. The new presentation showed humans engaged in various competitive activities. At first, these seemed harmless enough. Running races, swimming competitions, tests of strength and skill. The aliens began to relax. Slightly then came what the humans called contact sports. The screen filled with images of armored humans colliding violently with each other while chasing an oval-shaped object. The narrator explained the rules of something called football. while players tackled, blocked, and fought for control of the ball. The objective is to advance the ball into the opponent's territory while preventing them from taking it, explained Commander Park. Physical contact is not only allowed but encouraged. The best players are those who can hit hardest and take the most punishment. Delegate after delegate watched in stunned silence as humans demonstrated their entertainment preferences. Boxing matches where two people tried to render each other unconscious. Wrestling competitions involving grappling and submission holds. Mixed martial arts where fighters used every part of their bodies as weapons. These activities are considered fun? Asked Commander Vila, her voice barely above a whisper. Absolutely, replied economist Robert Chun. Sports are huge business on Earth. Millions of people watch these competitions. The athletes become celebrities and heroes. The presentation moved on to what humans called extreme sports. Footage showed people jumping from aircraft with only fabric parachutes, climbing sheer rock faces without safety equipment, and racing vehicles at dangerous speeds. The humans in the audience watched with obvious enjoyment and excitement. Adventure. Sports tap into our natural thrill-seeking behavior, explained Dr. Wright. Humans evolved to take calculated risks. We get pleasure from activities that challenge our survival instincts. Ambassador Vex of the crystalline Fallon species had been quietly processing everything she had observed. Her people were logical and analytical by nature. She began to see patterns that terrified her. During a brief intermission, Vex approached tech operator Nix privately. Have you been analyzing human physiological data? She asked quietly. Yes, Nix replied, her voice troubled. I ran standard biological scans during their arrival. The results are disturbing. Share your findings, Vex requested. Nix activated a small holographic display showing human anatomical data. Look at their eye placement. Forward-facing, binocular vision. This is a predator adaptation for judging distances during pursuit. Prey animals have eyes on the sides of their heads to watch for threats. Vex studied the data carefully. What else? Their teeth include prominent canines for tearing meat. Their digestive systems are designed to process both plant and animal matter efficiently. Their skeletal structure shows adaptations for endurance running and throwing weapons. The two aliens looked at each other with growing alarm. Everything about human biology screamed one thing: apex predator. There's more, Nix continued. I analyzed their muscle density and cardiovascular efficiency. Humans can maintain moderate physical activity for hours without rest. Their ancestors literally chased prey until it died of exhaustion. Meanwhile, the cultural presentation had moved on to human history. The screen showed ancient battles, medieval warfare, and modern military operations. The humans described these conflicts as important parts of their cultural development. War has been a constant throughout human history, Ambassador Santos explained matter-of-factly. While we prefer peace now, military strategy and tactics remain important subjects of study. Many of our greatest leaders were successful generals. The documentary showed humans using increasingly sophisticated weapons and strategies: siege warfare, naval battles, aerial combat. Each advancement in technology seemed designed to make humans more effective at defeating their enemies. Cultural specialist Braun was taking detailed notes, but his hands were shaking. Your species has spent most of its history fighting wars? Pretty much, confirmed Commander Park. Peace is actually relatively new for humans. Most of our technological advances came from military research. Competition and conflict drive innovation. The final segment of the presentation focused on human mythology and storytelling. The aliens watched tales of heroes hunting monsters, warriors defeating enemies, and adventurers conquering dangerous territories. Our most popular stories involve overcoming challenges through strength, cunning, and determination, explained cultural attach Kim. We admire characters who never give up, who pursue their goals regardless of obstacles. As the cultural exchange concluded, Ambassador Vex made a disturbing realization. Everything humans had shared pointed to the same conclusion. Their entertainment glorified violence and pursuit. Their sports mimicked combat and hunting. Their history was filled with warfare and competition. Their biology was that of a pursuit predator. The alien delegates filed out of the conference room in shocked silence. For the first time since making contact, they began to wonder if they had made a terrible mistake. These humans were not another peaceful herbivorous species seeking trade and friendship. They were predators. And somehow, they had learned to build spaceships. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in the highest security chamber aboard Station Unity. Only the most senior delegates were present, their faces showing worry and fear. Ambassador Krell had called the meeting after the disturbing cultural exchange presentation from the previous day. "We need to know what we are really dealing with," Krell announced to the small group. "The humans have been polite and diplomatic, but what they showed us yesterday raises serious concerns about their true nature." Ambassador Vex of the Thalon stood at the central console, her crystalline fingers working rapidly across multiple data interfaces. "I have been analyzing all available information about humanity since their arrival. What I have discovered is deeply troubling." She activated the main display screen. While the humans were attending their diplomatic quarters, last night I accessed their ship's communication arrays. They have been broadcasting signals to their home system, and some of those signals contained what appears to be entertainment data. Tech operator Nix leaned forward, her expression grim. "I helped decode the transmissions. The content is unlike anything we have seen from a civilized species." The first intercepted broadcast showed what humans called movies. The aliens watched in horrified fascination as humans acted out stories of violence, pursuit, and conflict. Action films showed heroes fighting multiple opponents with deadly weapons. Horror movies featured creatures hunting and killing helpless victims. War films glorified massive battles between human armies. "This is their idea of entertainment," Vex explained. "They create fictional scenarios involving violence and watch them for pleasure. Notice how the heroes are always the ones who are most effective at defeating their enemies." Cultural specialist Braun was taking detailed notes, his forearms trembling slightly. "The heroes win through superior fighting ability, better weapons, and more effective hunting strategies. Even their fantasy stories follow predator logic." The next set of data was even more disturbing. The aliens discovered human video games, interactive entertainment where players took control of characters and made decisions. Most of these games involved combat, hunting, or strategic warfare. "Look at this one," Nick said, highlighting a particular game. Players control human soldiers fighting alien invaders. The objective is to hunt down and eliminate all non-human threats to Earth. The more aliens killed, the higher the score. Commander Vila studied the game footage with professional interest. Their tactics are sophisticated. They use cover-coordinated attacks and exploitation of enemy weaknesses. These are not random acts of violence, but calculated military strategies. "There are thousands of these games," Vex continued. "Hunting simulators where players track and kill virtual animals. Strategy games where players build armies and conquer other civilizations. Racing games where the goal is to destroy opponent vehicles. Competition and dominance themes appear in almost every form of human entertainment." The investigation deepened as the aliens accessed more human data networks. They discovered something called social media, where humans shared personal information and opinions freely. "This is perhaps the most revealing," announced Dr. Kef of the Namari, his gas-filled body floating near the display. "Humans document their daily lives and thoughts on these networks. The patterns are consistent with predatory behavior. The social media analysis showed humans constantly competing with each other. They shared images of expensive possessions to display status. They argued aggressively over minor disagreements. They formed groups that excluded others based on small differences. Everything was a contest for dominance or resources. Notice how they describe their professional lives, Dr. Kef pointed out. They talk about hunting for jobs, killing the competition, crushing their opponents in business deals. Their language reveals their thinking patterns. Business communications were particularly alarming. Humans described market strategies using military terminology. They spoke of targeting customers, capturing market share, and defeating rival companies. Every commercial interaction was framed as a form of warfare. Even their romantic relationships follow predatory patterns, observed Braun. They pursue potential partners, discuss the chase, and celebrate conquest. They apply hunting metaphors to their most intimate social bonds. The aliens discovered human history databases and began analyzing thousands of years of recorded civilization. What they found was a continuous record of warfare, conquest, and expansion. Humans have been fighting each other since they developed organized societies, Vex reported. Not occasional conflicts like most species experience, but constant, systematic warfare. They have refined the art of killing other humans to an extraordinary degree. The military history was staggering. Humans had developed thousands of different weapons, from simple clubs to advanced nuclear devices capable of destroying entire planets. They had created elaborate strategies for siege warfare, naval combat, aerial battles, and space conflicts. Look at this, Nick said, displaying a timeline of human conflicts. In the past century alone, they fought 2 massive global wars involving hundreds of millions of soldiers. The death toll was in the tens of millions. And they call this period their modern era of civilization, added Dr. Kef. This represents their most peaceful and advanced time period. The economic data was equally concerning. Human corporations operated like competing predators, constantly trying to eliminate each other and claim territory. They had created complex financial instruments that allowed them to attack and destroy businesses without direct violence. They have weaponized money, Vex explained. They can destroy entire economies through market manipulation. They do not need armies to conquer other societies. They can accomplish the same result through economic warfare. The investigation revealed that humans had domesticated other predators as companions and tools. Dogs, cats, and other carnivorous species lived alongside humans and assisted in hunting activities. No other known galactic species had formed partnerships with predators. This is unprecedented, Commander Vila stated. Most civilized species have difficulty coexisting with herbivores from other planets. Humans have convinced apex predators from their own world to serve them willingly. The psychological profiles were the most disturbing discovery. Human entertainment consistently featured what they called underdog stories, scenarios where weaker humans overcame stronger opponents through cunning, persistence, and determination. They glorify the traits that made them successful persistence hunters, Braun analyzed. Never giving up, outlasting stronger opponents, using intelligence to overcome physical disadvantages. These are the characteristics they most admire in their heroes. The aliens found records of human sports that had been banned or modified due to excessive violence. Original versions of games that were now considered safe had involved serious injury or death as regular outcomes. They had to artificially reduce the violence in their recreational activities, Dr. Kef noted. Left to their natural inclinations, humans turned every game into potentially lethal competition. The communication patterns between humans revealed constant subtle dominance displays. They interrupted each other, spoke louder to claim attention, and used body language to establish hierarchy in every interaction. Even their diplomatic communications with us contain predatory signals, Vex pointed out. Notice how Ambassador Santos maintains eye contact longer than necessary, stands slightly closer than required, and uses hand gestures that display confidence and control. She is unconsciously asserting dominance in every conversation. The research team discovered that humans had hunted numerous species on their planet to complete extinction. They had not just killed for food or defense, but had systematically eliminated any creature that competed with them for resources or territory. They are the only species we know of that has achieved total planetary dominance, Commander Vela observed. Every other intelligent species shares their world with other advanced life forms. Humans removed all competition. The final piece of evidence came from human religious and philosophical texts. Even their spiritual beliefs were competitive, with different groups claiming exclusive access to truth and salvation. Their gods are warriors, Braun reported after analyzing religious documents. They worship deities who fight battles, defeat enemies, and establish dominance over other divine beings. Even their concepts of paradise involve victory and conquest. As the secret investigation concluded, the alien delegates sat in stunned silence. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same terrifying conclusion. Humans were not just predators. They were the ultimate predators. They had evolved intelligence, technology, and social cooperation specifically to make themselves more effective hunters. What do we do with this information? Asked Dr. Kef quietly. Ambassador Krell looked around the room at his fellow delegates. We need to understand one more thing. Are they here as explorers and traders, or are they here because they have already identified us as their next prey? The question hung in the air like a death sentence. For the first time in galactic history, the Council faced the possibility that they had welcomed their own hunters into their peaceful civilization. The tension in the main conference room was thick enough to cut with a blade. 3 days had passed since the secret investigation, and now the alien delegates faced the humans, across a polished table for what they believed would be crucial trade negotiations. Ambassador Krell tried to maintain his diplomatic composure, but his hands trembled slightly as he arranged his documents. The alien coalition had spent hours planning their strategy. They would present a united front against the human predators. No single species would negotiate separately. They would use their combined economic power to contain humanity and limit their expansion into galactic civilization. We have reviewed your preliminary trade proposals, Ambassador Krell announced formally. After consultation among our member species, we have concerns about several aspects of the agreement. Ambassador Santos smiled pleasantly, her hands folded calmly on the table. Of course. We welcome discussion and negotiation. What specific concerns can we address? Ambassador Vex activated her data display, showing charts and economic projections. Your species seeks access to 17 different star systems for what you call exploration and resource development. This represents an unusually aggressive expansion plan for a newly contacted civilization. Exploration is natural for humans, replied Dr. Wright. We are curious about the galaxy and eager to contribute to galactic civilization. Surely expansion benefits everyone through increased trade and knowledge sharing. Commander Vela leaned forward, her feathered crest rising slightly in agitation. Your military escort ships concern us. Most diplomatic missions travel with minimal security. You brought vessels capable of significant combat operations. Commander Park responded smoothly. Space can be dangerous. We believe in being prepared for any situation. Our ships are defensive in nature and pose no threat to peaceful civilizations. Cultural specialist Braun shuffled through his notes nervously. We have noticed patterns in your cultural materials that suggest aggressive tendencies. Your entertainment and historical records show a species with violent inclinations. Violence is part of our past, Ambassador Santos acknowledged. But civilization has allowed us to channel those instincts into productive activities. Competition drives innovation and progress. Surely your own species understand the value of healthy competition. The aliens exchanged glances. The humans were deflecting every concern with reasonable-sounding explanations. Ambassador Krell decided to take a more direct approach. "We propose limiting human expansion to 3 star systems initially," he announced. "Trade relationships should develop gradually to ensure compatibility between our civilizations." Ambassador Santos maintained her pleasant expression, but something shifted in her eyes. 3 systems seems quite restrictive. We had hoped for a more collaborative approach to galactic integration. "It is a reasonable starting point," insisted tech operator Nix. "Most new species begin with limited access and earn expanded privileges through demonstrated peaceful behavior." "I see," Santos replied quietly. She turned to whisper something to Dr. Wright, then looked back at the alien delegates. "Could we have a brief recess to discuss these proposals among our team?" "Of course." Krell agreed, relieved. "We shall reconvene in 1 hour." The humans filed out of the conference room, their expressions unreadable. The alien delegates immediately huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. "They are planning something," Commander Vila observed. "Their body language changed when we presented the restrictions." "Let them plan," Dr. Kef said confidently. "We outnumber them significantly, and we control access to galactic trade networks. They have no choice but to accept our terms." When the negotiations resumed, Ambassador Santos returned with a different attitude. Her smile was sharper, more focused. She carried a new set of documents and a small data device. "We have considered your proposal for limited expansion," she began. "Before we respond, we thought you might be interested in some information we have gathered about galactic civilization." She activated the data device, and a holographic display filled the air above the conference table. The aliens stared in surprise at detailed intelligence reports about their own civilizations. "We learned that the Verdani have been experiencing serious crop failures on their agricultural worlds," Santos continued conversationally. "Climate changes have reduced food production by 30% over the past 2 years. Ambassador Krell's green skin paled. That information was classified at the highest levels of Verdani government. The Thalon have discovered significant technical flaws in their quantum communication networks," Santos continued. "System failures have been occurring more frequently, but they haven't announced this to their trading partners." Ambassador Vex's crystalline body dimmed with shock. Those technical problems were state secrets. "The Seraph military has been dealing with equipment shortages and reduced readiness," Santos added. "Budget cuts have forced them to delay critical upgrades to their defense systems." Commander Vila's feathers flattened against her head in alarm. Santos looked around the table at the increasingly disturbed alien delegates. "Should I continue? We have detailed information about every species represented here. Economic problems, political tensions, resource shortages, technological difficulties. How did you obtain this information?" demanded Ambassador Krell, his diplomatic composure cracking. "Humans are very good at gathering intelligence," replied Dr. Wright casually. "We observe, we listen, we analyze patterns. Your communications networks are quite accessible once you understand the underlying technologies." "You have been spying on us," accused Vex, her voice vibrating with anger. "We prefer the term information gathering," Ambassador Santos corrected. "Just like your secret investigation of our civilization over the past 3 days." The alien delegates froze. They had been discovered. "You thought we didn't know?" Commander Park asked with amusement. "You accessed our ship's computers, intercepted our communications, analyzed our cultural data. Did you really think we wouldn't notice?" "We allowed you to gather that information," Santos explained. "We wanted you to understand what humanity is capable of. Now you know we are predators." What you haven't realized yet is how effectively we hunt. She activated another display, showing detailed maps of alien space territories, trade routes, and resource locations. While you were studying our entertainment and history, we were mapping your weaknesses and dependencies. The Verdani need food imports from the Korthax agricultural systems. Santos continued, pointing to the display. But the Korthax are planning to raise prices by 40% next quarter to fund their military expansion. Cultural specialist Bronze forearms twitched involuntarily. That pricing decision had been made in closed council sessions. The Thalon depend on rare mineral imports from Seraph mining colonies, Santos went on. However, the Seraph have been secretly negotiating with the Rockburn to establish competing trade relationships. The alien delegates began looking at each other with suspicion and alarm. The Namari gas harvesting operations conflict with Verdani. Territorial claims in the outer spiral, Santos continued relentlessly. Both species have been building military assets in the disputed region while publicly claiming peaceful intentions. Dr. Kef's gas-filled body contracted with distress. Those military preparations were supposed to be undetectable. Each of your civilizations has been pursuing individual advantages while pretending to maintain unity, Santos observed. You formed this coalition against humanity, but you don't actually trust each other. She leaned back in her chair, still smiling pleasantly. Now let's discuss our trade proposal again. But this time, we'll negotiate with each species individually. We agreed to present a united position, Ambassador Krell protested weakly. That was before we revealed how much your partners have been hiding from you, replied Santos. Korthax, are you really comfortable with the Verdani knowing about your military expansion plans? Seraph, how do you think the Thalon will react to learning about your secret trade negotiations? The unity of the alien coalition began to crack. Suspicious glances passed between former allies. Whispered conversations erupted around the table. Of course, we don't need to share this information with anyone, Santos added helpfully. Humans understand the value of keeping certain facts confidential. We could work out individual arrangements that benefit everyone. Ambassador Vex realized what was happening. You are dividing us deliberately. This is a calculated strategy. Of course it is, Santos agreed. Humans are excellent at understanding group dynamics and individual motivations. We identify what each party wants most and find ways to provide it. She turned to Ambassador Krell. Verdani need food security. We can provide agricultural technology and surplus food production. Then to Vex, Thalon need communication system upgrades. Human quantum technology is more advanced than anything currently available in galactic markets. To Commander Vila, Seraph, require military equipment. Human defensive systems are highly effective and available for immediate delivery. One by one, she addressed each delegate's most pressing needs with offers that were exactly what they wanted to hear. The choice is simple, Santos concluded. You can maintain your coalition and continue dealing with your individual problems alone. Or you can work with humanity and gain access to solutions that your current partners cannot provide. The alien delegates sat in stunned silence. They had attempted to trap the humans with restrictions and limitations. Instead, they had been systematically outmaneuvered, divided, and offered exactly what they needed most. This is not how diplomatic negotiations usually proceed, Dr. Kef said weakly. That's because you've never negotiated with persistence. Hunters before, replied Dr. Wright. We don't give up, and we always find a way to get what we want. Ambassador Santos smiled as she watched the alien coalition dissolve before her eyes. Now shall we discuss those expanded trade agreements? I believe we have much more to offer each other than you originally realized. 6 months had passed since the failed coalition attempt. The main council chamber of Station Unity looked the same, but everything else had changed completely. The Seating arrangement told the story clearly. Ambassador Santos sat at the head of the curved table where Ambassador Krell had once presided. The human delegation occupied the central positions, while the alien representatives sat in carefully arranged subordinate positions. Ambassador Krell adjusted his new designation badge nervously. Instead of Council Leader, it now read Regional Coordinator, Verdani Sector. The change in title represented much more than simple reorganization. It represented a complete shift in galactic power structure. Today's agenda covers the quarterly trade reports. Ambassador Santos announced, her voice carrying the easy authority of someone completely comfortable with command. Each sector coordinator will present their regional performance data. The transformation had not happened through conquest or violence. Instead, it had occurred through a series of logical beneficial decisions that each alien species had made. Individually, every choice had seemed reasonable at the time. Every agreement had provided solutions to pressing problems. Ambassador Vex activated her data display, showing production figures from Thalon manufacturing facilities. Quantum communication systems are operating at 96% efficiency. She reported, the integration of human technology upgrades has exceeded projected performance improvements. Excellent work, Santos replied with genuine approval. The Thalon have consistently delivered exceptional results. Your sector will receive priority access to the new gravitational manipulation technology. Vex's crystalline body brightened with pleasure at the recognition. Her people had benefited enormously from human partnership. Their technological capabilities had advanced by decades in just 6 months. The fact that humans now controlled the distribution of advanced technology seemed like a reasonable trade-off for such dramatic improvements. Cultural Specialist Braun presented the Korthax agricultural data next. Food production has increased by 43% across all agricultural worlds, he announced proudly. The human vertical farming systems and genetic optimization techniques have eliminated our periodic famines. The Korthax continue to demonstrate why they are essential partners in galactic food security, Santos acknowledged. Your expanded production quotas will help support the new colony initiatives in the Outer Rim territories. Braun's forearms gestured with satisfaction. His people were feeding more planets than ever before. The humans had solved their agricultural problems and given them a crucial role in galactic expansion. The fact that humans coordinated all colony development seemed natural given their superior planning abilities. Commander Vila reported on Seraph military operations. Patrol efficiency in contested sectors has improved by 67%, she announced. Human tactical coordination protocols have significantly enhanced our peacekeeping effectiveness. The Seraph military continues to set the standard for professional excellence, Santos said approvingly. Your forces will lead the security operations for the new trade route expansion into previously unexplored regions. Vila's feathered crest rose with pride. Her people have become the most respected military force in the galaxy under human guidance. The strategic insights humans provided had made Seraph forces nearly invincible in peacekeeping operations. The fact that humans determined which conflicts required intervention seemed logical given their superior strategic understanding. Dr. Kef floated forward to present Namari gas harvesting statistics. Resource extraction has increased by 52%, he reported. Human efficiency improvements have optimized our collection operations throughout the nebula regions. The Namari continue to demonstrate exceptional resource management. Santos noted, your expanded operations will supply the energy requirements for the new deep space exploration missions. Dr. Kef's gas-filled body swelled with satisfaction. His people had become the primary energy suppliers for humanity's ambitious exploration programs. The humans had transformed Nimari from a minor civilization into a crucial galactic power. The fact that humans planned all major exploration initiatives seemed appropriate, given their natural curiosity and superior exploration capabilities. Tech operator Nix presented the final report on infrastructure development. Communication network. Expansion has proceeded ahead of schedule, she announced. Human system integration protocols have created unprecedented connectivity between all member worlds. Outstanding achievement, Santos said warmly. The expanded network will support the implementation of the new unified administrative systems across all sectors. Nix's crystalline fingers danced with pleasure. Her people had built the most advanced communication network in galactic history. With human assistance, the humans had revolutionized information sharing and coordination between worlds. The fact that humans administered the network's central control systems seemed natural given their superior organizational abilities. As the quarterly reports concluded, Ambassador Santos stood and walked to the large viewing window overlooking the galaxy beyond. 6 months ago, we were strangers meeting for the first time, she said thoughtfully. Today, we are partners working together to build something greater than any of our individual civilizations could achieve alone. The alien representatives nodded in agreement. Each of their worlds had prospered beyond their wildest expectations. Problems that had plagued their civilizations for generations had been solved with human assistance. Technologies that had seemed impossible were now routine parts of their daily operations. The success of our partnership demonstrates what can be accomplished when different species combine their unique strengths, Santos continued. Each of you brings essential capabilities that make our collective achievements possible. Ambassador Krell found himself nodding along with the others. The Verdani had never been more prosperous or secure. Human agricultural technology had eliminated their food shortages. Human defensive systems protected their worlds from any possible threats. Human administrative efficiency had streamlined their governmental operations. Of course, coordination and planning become more complex as our alliance grows, Santos noted. We are now responsible for managing 17 star systems, 43 inhabited worlds, and over 200 billion individuals from multiple species. She turned back to face the assembled delegates. Effective management requires clear decision-making, authority, and unified command structures. Individual species cannot optimize galactic-level operations through committee decisions and consensus building. The aliens accepted this logic without question. The humans had consistently demonstrated superior planning and management abilities. Every human-led initiative had succeeded beyond expectations. Every human-proposed solution had worked exactly as promised. Therefore, I am pleased to announce the establishment of the new Galactic Administrative Authority, Santos said, activating a holographic display showing the proposed organizational structure. This system will provide the coordinated leadership necessary to manage our expanding civilization effectively. The organizational chart showed humans occupying all senior leadership positions, with alien species representatives serving in specialized technical and operational roles. The structure looked logical and efficient to the alien delegates. Each species would focus on their natural strengths while humans provided overall strategic direction. The authority will oversee resource allocation, technological development, territorial expansion, and conflict resolution across all member worlds, Santos explained. This unified approach will eliminate the inefficiencies and competing interests that previously limited galactic development. Ambassador Vex studied the proposed structure carefully. Will individual species maintain autonomous control over their homeworlds? She asked. Of course, Santos replied smoothly. Each species will retain complete cultural autonomy and local governance authority. The authority will only coordinate matters that affect multiple species or require galaxy-wide planning. The distinction seemed reasonable. Humans would handle the complex strategic issues they understood best, while each species maintained control over their traditional territories and customs. Implementation will begin immediately, Santos announced. Transition teams will work with each sector coordinator to establish the new administrative protocols. The process should be completed within 90 days. Dr. Kef raised a question about resource allocation procedures. Santos answered with detailed explanations of improved efficiency and expanded development opportunities. Commander Vila asked about military command structures. Santos described enhanced coordination and more effective peacekeeping capabilities. Each concern was addressed with logical explanations and compelling benefits. The humans had thought through every aspect of the transition. They had solutions for every potential problem and improvements for every existing process. As the meeting concluded, the alien delegates filed out of the chamber discussing implementation details and timeline requirements. None of them questioned the fundamental change that had occurred. None of them recognized that they had just formally surrendered control of galactic civilization to humanity. Ambassador Santos remained in the chamber after the others departed, standing alone at the viewing window. She smiled as she watched. Human ships moving through the space lanes, carrying human administrators to their new posts throughout the galaxy. The hunt was complete. Humanity had successfully established itself at the apex of galactic civilization without firing a single shot or making a single threat. They had simply offered solutions, provided benefits, and demonstrated superior capabilities until their leadership became inevitable. The other species would continue to thrive under human guidance. They would remain prosperous, secure, and content. They would never realize that they had become members of humanity's pack, following the lead of apex predators who had learned to hunt with words instead of claws. Ambassador Santos touched her communication device. Phase 1 implementation is complete, she reported quietly. All species have accepted the new administrative structure. We are ready to proceed with deep space expansion protocols. The galaxy now belonged to humanity, and humanity was just getting started.